Okay, well, welcome, Zhana of Zhana's Plant Magic. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
being here.
Thank you for having me. It's definitely an honor.
My pleasure. And you were one of the first people to respond to my call when I knew I was opening the store.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. I'm so happy to have been able to establish a connection with you and to carry your really wonderful products at Everyday Magic. So I'm wondering if you want to start by just telling us how you started. Well, tell us what you do, first of all.
Okay. Sure. So, my passion is taking the magic and the power of plants and infusing them into various herbal remedies that help be preventative for everyday health and also help to enhance one's beauty and sense of just feeling good about oneself. So everything from eye creams that are infused with espresso and a face cream that has pomegranate oil and aloe vera and calendula in there as well, or go to cacao mortality, which is a mushroom blend, or some tinctures like my mugwort lucid dream tincture. It's all across the spectrum from topicals to ingestibles. And the intention of each and every one of them is to be easily integrated into your everyday life, to be effective, high quality, and something that you're proud of having on your shelf as well. Not
Yeah.
just like, I just took up some leaves, mashed it up in a paste, and here you go, but actually making it in a way that is fun to have and easy to carry around.
Yeah. And one of the things I really love about the products I carry in the store, about your products, I love when people take a lot of pride in the integrity of and sort of the nuance of their craft,
Mm-hmm.
right? And just the way you describe the mugwort that you use for your tincture, like, lets me know that you know a lot, or have been curious enough to find out a lot about the products that you're using, and that you really care about using them in the best way possible. And I say that thing about curiosity because sometimes when we talk about knowledge, I think it sounds like something you have to, like, that's I don't know, elite in some way. But the truth
Mm,
is, like, if you're resourceful and you're curious, you can
right.
learn about anything. Um,
That's absolutely true. And it's really how my journey started, was with curiosity.
tell us, tell us how this all started for you.
Yeah. So I was about, I want to say 8, 10 years old. And my dad had bought 40 acres of raw land in Southern California. And when I say raw land, picture brush and coyotes and rocks and no trails.
Wow.
So we go out there, and I'm just overwhelmed a little bit, being, a little beach girl, if you will, a couple miles from the beach growing up, to see all this vegetation, all this foliage. And for whatever reason, I had this burning desire to know what these plants were used for back in the Native American times, because this area was definitely an area where a lot of Native Americans had used resources and lived. And since I do have Native American background, I was, just naturally curious and
Yeah.
started playing around with it. Really quickly, I became familiar with what's called hummingbird trumpet and white sage, which are really easy to recognize. But those are the very two plants that called out to me. And then it just became an obsession from there. I went to the library, started grabbing a bunch of books. All I wanted to know about was these plants and how they're used. So fast forward to my late teens, early 20s. And this whole time I'd been, slowly been involved in fitness and health and my diet, and was really curious about that too. But I think because I was so focused on the fitness side without looking holistically at health, I was starting to have really, really bad acne, like just terrible acne. I was taking a lot of animal products at the time. And that's what I thought was the cause of it. And I had really bad cold sores that would break out. So would my sister. I had some skin rashes. And I just knew that if I understood the power of plants, I would be able to heal these things in myself first. And that's really where it went from interest and curiosity into how can I actually take these and how can I use this in a way that would help heal myself, and help just
Can
relieve some pains and itchiness and things like that.
Yeah, can I
So
ask, did you was that just sort of an intuitive knowing, like, I know there's some connection here? Or is that something that, uh, that you were sort of learning a little bit on the side? Like, I'm just curious what drew you to go in that
it,
direction?
yeah, it was really intuitive. I just remember being out there in nature, right? Removed from everything else. There's no phone reception even in this little area in Duluth. It's really remote, which is crazy being about an hour away from, North County, San Diego, where I'm from. Um, and just being able to have silence, I think, and have time alone at such a young age, surrounded by so many plants, I was able to just listen. And
Mm.
it wasn't like a strong voice saying, do this, writing on the wall or anything. It was more of this soft guidance of, hey, I'm over here. um, which just really pulled me in. And as I grew older and I had some of these conditions, it was more of this deep belief that I know no matter what, I can use the power of plants to help myself be healthier. So I started to mess around with it, some very basic remedies. Actually, two of them, my healing salve, which I still have to this day, and my lip balm, were the first two things I ever made. And I haven't changed the formula since because they're just phenomenal. And from there, I just was like a chemist because my background too is also a little bit of a scientist nerd. But just being in my lab space and being able to work with plants, and from the process of wild crafting, drying, and then infusing them into oils. Everything always has the herbs infused in the oils to really get the maximum potency, putting them together in such a way that is fun and usable. What I wanted was something that even my fashioncita of a sister would want to use, instead of just going to the CVS or the Ultra and getting something that, when I look at the label, especially as I was getting into nutrition, I started really paying attention to ingredients of things. Like, I can't even pronounce half these things. What am I putting on my skin? And this is one of the biggest organs on our body. We have to take care of it.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Okay. So, and when you were experimenting and like making the healing salve, were you fueled by, like we said before, just kind of like curiosity and figuring it out? Or were you starting to get um, more of a formal education or an informal education? Were you working with other people who were doing similar work? Like, how did you know how to do that?
Yeah. So it started off just, again, curiosity, looking up online, seeing what are some basic recipes. I have a knack in the kitchen and in the stove. A lot of my girlfriends will joke around that I'm like a kitchen witch. I just have a knack in the kitchen and with making things. So that's where they first started off. But then as I made it and I wanted to perfect it, because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist and I had to have it just right, because I'm really picky about what I use personally. So I started doing some more research, and then I went to self-heal school in Ocean Beach. And this is the time where I was like, okay, I know a good amount, but let's go to some professionals, some real herbalists that have been in the industry and have been working hands-on clinically for some time. They're later in life and so much knowledge from them. And from them, I was able to learn a lot from John and Jane about how to make a cream, for example, which is where my special cream, the balm, was really born. And that stuff is incredible for pain. I can't live without it. And then the face cream. And so then this was the fine tuning of not just using teas and powders and some simple salves, but really making some high quality products. So from there, it really just became, practice makes perfect, as the saying goes. You start working with it. And this was my, incredibly big hobby at the time that I was really passionate about. I was working a full-time job at the time, so every free ounce of energy I had was spent working on this. And word got around in my community, and people were really liking my products, and they were really saying it was really good. My labels, you would laugh, they were terrible at the time. But everybody loved the product. And then I started to sell on Etsy, just, to see, what would the response be? This was like 2.5 years ago now that this happened, maybe 3 years ago. And people loved them. They were high ratings. They wanted more. They kept buying, kept returning. And then somebody locally saw my store on Etsy and was like, hey, we're doing a market. We would love for you to come be part of it. We love your stuff. And so I was like, wow, this is a really interesting opportunity. And so I was able to go there in the market, and it was so fun being there, because when I was a kid, I had done farmers markets with my dad and my stepmom at the time, and we did smoothies. And I had a really good experience with that. So the market just came natural, and interacting with people. And it was a whole new level, because instead of just my small community, now it's a bigger community. And I get to meet more people and hear more what everyone's looking for, and be able to directly make an impact and make a lot of relationships long lasting. So that was amazing. The first market I did there, somebody had seen it. She does another market, and she was like, hey, come to my market too. So it was just one thing after another. And it was a great experience. I did the market a lot, but again, I was working a full-time job. It was a corporate job, lots of hours, probably putting in 60 hours a week there, which is insane, and doing this too. So I just came to the realization that I had to put my health first, and I was just staying up too late, trying to get everything ready. It was too much, and I had to take a step back. So I took a step back. And I stopped doing this market. I stopped doing the online sales, and just really took a break and focused on getting myself centered, which was hard to do. But I knew it was the right thing to do for me at the time. So a couple of years go by, and I'm still making things for myself on the side. I make things for friends, family as requests, special custom care packages, but that's really it, because that's all I can handle at the time. And then, as some would say, with the bad thing, there's often a silver lining and a good thing. And that's really what happened with me when the whole country shut down because of COVID. And instead of being on the go and with my corporate job and traveling so much and everything, I had time to be at home and not at the office 10 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And as I was at home and just rearranging things, and I started looking at some of my old products that I had and reading some old reviews and requests and emails, people started asking, hey, do you mind making these again? And I was looking, I was like, you know what? Why not? This is the perfect time. Things have slowed down. Let's do it again. And just not to jump around too much, but before that, when I was going to herb school, I met this one gal, Paulina, and she and I were on the same page with herbs products, and she had her own thing going on. And definitely want to give a shout out to her, because she had me go on a road trip with her for 2 weeks, just about a year before everything shut down. And during that time, we were really talking and getting excited. And we went all the way up to Northern California to the California School of Herbal Studies. And we got to go to their garden and see the herbs and really reignite that passion of how much I wanted to do it. And she went off and she ended up continuing going to that herb school. And at the time, I didn't feel like I could do that because of, everything that I was, juggling and holding and responsibility wise. I didn't give myself the permission to follow my own passion. Yeah. And it wasn't until I did and everything just lit up again. And now I am living truly the best life, fully in alignment, going after my passion. So since April, it's been a wild ride. My products have been going up. The labels have, dramatically improved to something that I'm really proud of. And from there, we decided, hey, you know what? This was 2 months later. We're like, why don't we, I had enough coming in because people were making their orders to say, you know what, I can quit the corporate job. I don't make a lot, but I make enough to put food on the table and
Yeah.
basic bills.
Yeah.
So let's give it a go. It's now or never. And so I quit the corporate job and went all in
Wow.
with no safety net. And it's been amazing since. We went from San Diego, we went to New Jersey with the plan to go to St. Pete because there was a herb school here that I'm now attending, and I was attending over Zoom for like the first 4 or 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And that school is just chock full of knowledge on a completely different level. There's really, really good wisdom that's taught there in terms of how to use the herbs in more of a clinical sense, and really to look at the body, look at the tongue, look at the pulse, and really assess personally for each person.
I love one of the things I love about plants, and we've talked about this. I work with flower essences, which is much different than working in herbalism, but they both really work with the personality, the wisdom, the soul of the plant. Um, but then also in herbalism, you have these more clinical applications, and that exists with flower essences too. It's just sort of on a different level, and it's not my specialty. Um, but I loved sort of that, just the really dynamic nature of plants and what they offer. It
Mm.
puts me in so much awe of this earth and the gifts that are all around you. If you look, even if you're in a city, the plants and the gifts are still there. You
Everywhere.
have to be like on a 40-acre farm to see it. And well, I'm curious. So that your dad's farm, that became a farm.
Well, it's still raw land because it was really
Okay.
just he and I working on it every weekend until I turned 18, and then my
Yeah.
sister took over. And
Okay.
now she's in 19, and she's got her own life going on. So it's really his thing, and he's got some animals and some trees out
It's
there and
like a
everything.
hobby farm versus a
Yeah,
working
yeah,
farm. Yeah.
exactly,
Cool.
exactly. But what you were saying about nature's everywhere, I couldn't agree more. So since coming to St. Pete, I have always previously been able to find plantain, and I like to source a lot of my herbs myself:
Mhm.
mugwort, plantain, sage, and I just have a relationship with all of them from being able to go out and hike.
Yeah.
So when we came here, I expected to be able to find plantain, and plantain doesn't grow really in St. Pete. It's really rare, in fact. And so I was thinking, like, all last week, we're like, I got to find this. And so we were driving an hour away into nature. We were going to these state parks and like looking, and I was like looking where I know I would be able to find it. Nothing. And then yesterday, out of nowhere, we're like, okay, we need to, go to the local market to pick up some, veggies and stuff. It's like, okay. So we hop in the car and we're driving, and I happen to look out the window, not on my side either, and on his side, and I see, was that plantain? He's like, what? What is it? And I was like, I think I saw plantain. And this is 5 minutes from the house. And it's right on a road, everything like that. And you're not supposed to harvest by road or anything like that, but just to see it. And so we stopped, pulled over, and it was a really quiet back road residential area. And there it is. I see it. I'm just like, oh my goodness, thank you so much. But that is such a lesson from the universe that everything you're looking for can be right there, and just wait and be patient.
Yeah.
But I do genuinely feel that I called the plantain
Yeah, yeah.
to be there. And so I was able to grab a little bit and carefully transplant it into the yard. And now we have it in the yard here.
Oh, good. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. And probably good for the plantain
Yeah.
as well. Well, that's awesome. I'm curious. I want to hear a little bit more about sort of the products and, you know, what are some of your favorites or what's exciting? Oh, wait, I have another question before we go there. Is when you first started and like all the way to now, I'm curious, are you working mostly with like household appliances, or did you have to buy a lot of special equipment to make the things that you make?
That's a really good question. So they're not household appliances. They are special equipment, but there's a caveat there. So when you're making herbal medicine, I'm sure you're familiar with this, making flower essences, time is really the best tool possible. So simple mason jars, the
Mhm.
herb of choice, dried, sourced from somewhere that, I know is sustainable practices, putting the herb in there. And if I'm making a tincture, the solvent would be alcohol. If it's going into a topical, then it gets extracted in oil. And so just putting it in there in time, that is one of my favorite processes to extract the medicine. And then from there, I have a double boiler pan. It's specifically everything that I use to make product is specifically for product making. So yes, I did have to get a few different things, a stick blender, for example.
But
And
those
now
are
I
things
do.
that people might have in their kitchen. Like, even
Yeah.
though, right, because you're making it for other people, you're going to use something just for that, so it
Yeah.
stays clean. But these are like, if somebody wanted to start making things at home and experimenting, they have
Absolutely.
what they need, or
Yeah,
it's easy to get.
absolutely. Like, for example, if you wanted to make for just a simple cream yourself or a simple salve, all you would need is a mason jar or, any glass jar. Get your pickle jar, empty it out, clean it, or whatever when you're done.
Mm-hmm.
And then just a regular pot, and you would put water in the pot. Okay. And then you put that mason jar, inside of it, and that makes a double boiler.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, you want to put whatever your solvent is, what kind of oil you're going to use,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to put your herbs in there. If you don't want to do the time method, you turn the heat down to low, okay? And you're going to have it in the back of your stove for about 4 hours, and that's going to allow the medicine of the plant to extract in the oil. Or you can do the time method and let it sit for a month and just shake
Yeah.
it every day. And then from there, you just would add a little bit of wax. I like to use a vegan wax personally because I was vegan for about 4 years. And that's just the wax that I was learning with. And I
Mm-hmm.
love it. But you can use a beeswax, definitely. And then you want to add some sort of butter, whether it's cocoa butter or shea butter. And if you have some essential oils on hand, I'm sure, eucalyptus is a common one with just in the house, to scent it. But yeah, you can definitely make some things at home really easily. And that's how I started, just making stuff
Yeah.
with simple kitchen appliances.
Yeah. That's awesome. So what like new creations or new concepts, like what are you sort of most excited about right now? What's getting you juiced up?
Oh man, there's so many. I feel like I have a new product inserted into my mind that I download when I meditate almost every day or every other day at least.
Yeah, it can
Like,
be
for example, this
overwhelming to
morning,
get so inspired, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
This morning I woke up like mid dream and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta make a disinfectant spray with plantain that goes with the healing salve for wounds. It's crazy. But the thing that I'm really excited about right now, there's a couple things. One is a deodorant that I am preparing to make. It's an old formula that I've had that works really well. However, I am going to make it 2.0 and
Yeah.
infuse sage and calendula into it, because sage helps with, it's a drying energetic. So you really got to think about the plant's energetics and how it works. Calendula is really good for the lymph nodes. So I wanted to, just enhance my deodorant formula, put that in there. And I've got a special scent that reminds me of the woods. I like to call it winter pine, which has been one of the best selling scents for my lotions lately, the winter pine lotion. But I'm going to put that in the deodorant. And then I also have a love butter. Actually, I have it right here, which I know a lot of people are really excited about for Valentine's Day. This one was a really fun cream creation. You can see the inside. It looks like just a nice cream.
Yeah, and we
It's a
have
little
that in store.
tingly. Yeah. Definitely go stop by your store and get some. So those are two that are really exciting right now. And there's something else that I have been working on. I'm still perfecting it, but it goes on the coattails of my cacao mortality mushroom blend. So the cacao mortality mushroom blend is 14 different mushrooms and cacao, of course, which is a really nice heart opener. And the 14 different mushrooms help enhance your overall health, help with sports performance, especially because of the cordyceps in there. The lion's mane help with nerve regeneration and your mind. But what I have personally been wanting to work with is creating a similar powder, because I know everyone likes the powders. It's really easy to integrate into your everyday routine. And I really believe in using food as medicine and incorporating the herbs that way. So making a powder blend that has camu camu in there, it has some moringa in there, also has some of the mushrooms and the cacao. It's going to be my morning power up blend. And what it's going to
Mm.
do is you're going to make it like a acai bowl. So it's going to be really good. But stay tuned for that one.
Okay, awesome. Um, yeah, I'm excited about that deodorant too. I'm always game to find a good deodorant, partially because I don't want to use the same thing always because I feel like your body gets used to it, and then so I like to change it up.
Mhm.
And there are so many natural deodorants that like don't work that well. So I'm always
Well,
looking for like the good ones, you know?
that's the thing. So when I started making products, aside from that lip balm that would help prevent cold sores and a healing salve for cuts and burns and things like that, I really took a look at my bathroom cabinet and my shower, and I was like, what products am I using right now? And what can I find a better way, a better alternative for? And that's really how this all started. It's all self-care products. So it's really important for me to, replace what was in the stores. And when I try to find healthier alternatives, I'm not going to mention any brands, but when I looked for a store healthier version of a deodorant, I found that for me, it didn't really do what I needed it to do.
Yeah,
So I'm really, really excited about this one because I know the formula is good and I'm just going to make it that much better. So
that's amazing. Well, I look forward to having that in the store to share.
absolutely.
Um, so I'm curious, what really inspires you and what really challenges you?
Yeah. Inspiration is easy. It's just going outside, really. When I am outside and I see nature and all of its beauty, I just can't help but to want to share that with the world. And a lot of times,
I don't know if you can hear me, but you froze and I can't hear you anymore. So I'm curious what inspires you and what challenges you.
yeah, I'd say the inspiration comes from nature. When I'm outside and I'm taking my time, reconnecting with nature, it's really important for me when I'm making this medicine. I don't make this medicine just because I'm looking to replace everything in my bathroom counter. I make it solely in the beginning because I'm connecting with nature and I feel responsible and I'm used as a vessel, if you will, to share that magic to other people and not just, hold it for myself. So when I'm out there, I'm taking my quiet time to just connect and hear, what I'm supposed to do and what can I create and just really receive those downloads. That's the inspiration. And it comes straight from the plants. Obviously connecting with family and community as well is another aspect of that inspiration, because when I'm working with people and seeing clients and hearing some of the things that they're going through, whether it's emotional or physical, that they need help with from using the healing power of plants, that also causes another side of inspiration. And between the two of them, that's where everything comes from. Um, Challenge, there's a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
I
Tell
love
us
challenge though.
because, yeah, I mean, I think it's important, first of all, to talk about the things that aren't easy. On one hand, because it lets other people know that you're real and you struggle like they struggle. And also because when we hear about how other people work through their challenges, it gives us more resources for how we're going to work through our challenges.
Yeah.
So don't hold anything back.
Yeah. No, that was beautifully said. Um, a lot of times I'll look to mentors, different people that I see, myself 10, 20, 30 years down the line, and want to know what are some of the things that they went through and how did they struggle in the beginning. So I absolutely agree with you. Struggles for me vary across the board. So it's everything from, just capital. There's so many things that I want to do. And having limited resources can be a bit of a struggle, but I also find that it can be one of the best things because it allows for creativity. So embracing that yin yang aspect right now has been a challenge that I'm learning to accept and embrace fully. Another challenge is, when you're making products that you believe in, you got to listen not to what you think is going to be best all the time. You got to really listen to what the community is asking for and what the plants are telling you, right? So if, I was talking to somebody that was, interested in creating their own brand of products and wondering where to start, the first thing I would say is, well, what do you notice that's a simple thing that you can help with? It doesn't always have to be the most complicated thing. Something simple is a good place to start,
And this really comes back to what you said about being a vessel.
Mm-hmm.
And like what I'm hearing and what you're saying, and I want you to continue, but I want to point this out that it's not an egoic business. It's not about what I want, the mark I want to make on the world. It's about I'm here as a vessel for the plant wisdom and the plant healing and the plant power. And so I need to know who I'm serving, what do they need, and the power that I'm bringing in, what do they want to be used for? What do they want to be in service to? And it's a humbling process and a humbling notion that I very much relate to. And I don't know, I find that it becomes so much easier actually when you're able to take your ego out and go like, no, 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 there's a higher wisdom here. Let me listen for it and serve it as opposed to have to figure everything out.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when I look at, the week and the goals and everything that I have, and I really have to just respect that it's not me who's doing this. This is coming, because I happen to be chosen to do this by the universe, and they're opening the doors for me. It's not nothing that I'm doing. And so it's my duty to be responsible and to wake up every morning and make sure I'm in the right state, make sure I have a place that is, an area where I can create this magic in a beautiful, clean environment, where I can get this inspiration and have the flexibility and the freedom to go out. So also having to, work and to wake up every morning when you're like looking at your bank account and you're like, oh, this is not, what I need it to be right now. But just having faith that it doesn't really matter because every day you're given exactly what you need to accomplish what your purpose is for that day. And so just kind of putting that aside and just going out there full faith. I think that that's really difficult. And I think that's why maybe a lot of people that have similar ambitions don't go as far as fast, is because you really just got to let go and you got to jump and just put one foot in front of the other and make sure you're checking in every day and make sure, am I doing what's making me happy? Because as long as I know that I'm in alignment, and I'm not saying that every single day is roses and rainbows, okay? There's challenges. I get moody, I get upset, I get frustrated, I get burns, things don't go the right way. For example, I was working with a tincture the other day and I was like, why is this tasting metallic-y? This isn't right. It's going through and trying to assess, frustrated. And you just got to remove yourself from the situation, walk away, come back, recenter, and get back into it. I think that's really difficult to do every single day and just come in with the best attitude unless you're taking time for yourself and being centered.
And they're really, I mean, what I keep hearing is the notion of giving up control, giving up any kind of micromanaging that you may be used to doing from other times in your life, and
Yeah.
really allowing and trusting and having faith. And, you know, I have experienced so many miracles and like money miracles. I'm familiar with that, right? With that thing where you're looking at your bank account, you're like, whoa, that's not right. No, right? And I've experienced so many money miracles, and it really does come from taking yourself out of thinking that you know what is going on and coming back to the moment, coming back to, well, do I have what I need right now? Yep. Okay. Do I have a
Check.
general faith in the universe? Yep. Okay. I'm going to rest on that. You know, and I know that that faith doesn't come so easily to everybody, and it's something that we can really cultivate, and we have to sort of unlearn the fear in order to really be able to rest in the faith. But I have experienced, like I say, so many miracles. And the truth is, the less fear I have, the more easily the miracles come. They still feel like
Yeah.
miracles. It's not like just because I'm in faith, I think I know what's going to happen. That's exactly it. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I'm in faith anyway. I don't worry. And then it works out. And it's like, you know, I wouldn't speak about it so casually if I hadn't experienced it working when according to like my 3D managing brain, it had no business happening,
Hmm.
you know. I lost
Yeah.
I lost your video there for a sec. Oh, you're back.
Okay, I'm back.
Um, yeah, have you had money miracles?
Absolutely. So many money miracles.
So many money
It's
miracles.
insane. I mean,
Yeah.
the timing of it too. It's not just random. Especially when it's exactly what you need at exactly the right time. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's mind blowing, but that just reaffirms that I'm doing the right thing, because every time I get that little quiet voice that's like, why did you leave your job, the security, and you didn't do the right thing? Like, you're working crazy. What are you doing? I'll just get this beaming review of how somebody's life has changed because they're using the iron building tonic, or, somebody, has really been feeling dramatically better because they're taking the mushroom blend or whatever it is. And then at the end of the day, that's what I live for. Like, I live to be able to help people and the environment as a whole and everyone to be healthier. If I'm doing that, then I'm doing my higher calling, and everything else, it'll come. I'm not worried about it.
And it does,
And
right?
speaking
Like
of,
the bills get paid.
yeah, the bills get paid, and that's all that matters. As
And
long as I
sometimes
have
even
enough to
more.
get the supplies that I need to keep creating, then that's perfect. But another thing that I'm really excited about too is I've partnered with an organization called One Tree Planted, and so now every time that I make one of these products, this is to me a seed, because for every product that is sold. For every product that is sold, a tree is planted now. So
Wow.
I'm so honored to be part of this and to be able to work with it, because like when you think about, the grand scheme of things in your day with everyday magic, everything that you do and everything that you want to accomplish is only so much that you personally can do in a 24-hour
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
right? So if you are working with somebody else that their whole mission in life is to plant trees, or somebody else's mission in life is to, go to Africa and help put in clean wells, or, what have you, whatever it is, you can connect and work with different organizations, and to be able to do that when somebody comes to Zhana's Plant Magic, not only are they getting, highly effective quality herbal remedies that are going to make their life healthier and happier, but they're also helping to plant a tree for every product. So,
Do you know things like where they plant trees and what kind of trees they plant?
yes, I do. In fact, right now, my focus is really North America,
Mhm.
just because North America's home. So that's the
Mhm.
focus point right now. And there are projects in California, there's projects in Florida, there's projects in all the national state parks, which is a big focus of mine because that's one of my favorite places to go and where
Yeah.
I get my inspiration. So all the national, all over the country, Colorado and Oregon, but all the national parks.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So beautiful. Um, Anything else that you want to share with the world, or yeah, anything else that you want to share with us?
Really, I just want to share, you know, it's not just about a simple deodorant, right? That's going to be a healthy alternative. It's not just about having a cacao mushroom blend. I mean, you can go, there's plenty of other companies that do a similar thing. But I'd say the main theme of Zhana's plant magic is that while you're getting highly effective and quality ingredients, everything is designed in a way to also have an affirmation. Like, for example,
Yeah.
my lights out tincture.
Mm-hmm.
I am tranquil. Go to immunity tincture. I am immune, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go to the iron tonic. I am full of life. The reason why I put these affirmations on there, and we were talking about this a little bit, it comes down to healing isn't just from a physical thing. It's not just from plants and spirits of plants, which is a huge part of it. But I really do believe healing, well-being, and overall health starts here in the mind.
Yeah.
And no matter what you do in the day, what you use in the day, if you don't have love for yourself and put that positive intention and first see it in your mind's eye, you're going to struggle having it manifest in reality. So the main message that I want to give to everyone today is you'll see things in your mind's eye, and that starts the path of healing and overall better health.
Absolutely. One of the things I talk about in terms of energy healing, because that's my, I mean, yes, I opened a store, but I've been an energy healer for years. That's my main gig. People sometimes think, oh, like you can heal my energy. And I'm like, I have a secret for you. Your brain also makes energy. Your thoughts also make energy. So yes, I can help you alter the energy in your body and in your field, but you're going to have to be the one to maintain that, which means you need to know what's going on. You need to be tuned in. And that's why like my sessions are very interactive and we talk a lot, because if we don't get your brain on board with all the other energy that we're moving, you can redirect it back to the old way, right? And yeah, our mind, our thoughts, our beliefs carry such powerful energy that can change the energy of our cells and our organs. And you know, everything carries energy. So we got to get as much as we can on board, you know, on board the train to healing and wellness. So I just love that your products all have affirmations on them. And yeah, I love your products. I'm so happy and proud to have them in the store. I love
Thank
that you are
you.
working with One Tree Planted. That's what it's called.
Yes.
I want to say One Tree Hill, One Tree Planted. And yeah, I'm so happy that we got a chance to connect. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And in the show notes, we'll put your website and where everybody can find you. And I know you share on Instagram, and I love following you there. So we'll see more of you.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much.
Okay. Sounds good. Bye.